Capcom's Final Fight is such a classic beat 'em up series loved by many, and because of that, that's why I wanted to talk about it in today's Smash Brothers discussion video. Now, there's a few things I have to point out, and the few things you probably noticed. If we're going to talk about Mike Haggar, well, isn't he a little bit similar to Incinerator already in the game? He already has a Lariat, so what's the point of putting Mike Haggar? We're going to talk about that, similarities, differences, all of that. You see, Final Fight is part of a trio of beat 'em up classics that don't get talked about as much, or even considered as much. However, ironically, Final Fight and Streets of Rage have both been discussed on a little level, unlike Double Dragon, that's barely discussed at all. All of them will each have their own videos dedicated to, like the one you're seeing now about Final Fight. Now, Mike Haggar is the definitive choice. He represents Final Fight and has never been in a Street Fighter game, unlike Cody and Guy. As you may not know, or may know, Street Fighter and Final Fight are in the same world and are referenced to each other multiple times, mostly from Street Fighter to reference Final Fight. But one interesting thing here is Cody from Final Fight represents Street Fighter and spirits in Smash Brothers. That makes no sense to me. And Guy is nowhere to be found. Does that mean he's more playable? Does that mean him and Haggar are your better picks for the Final Fight representation? Not to exclude the question of, does Cody, that represents a Street Fighter spirit, also represent a Final Fight spirit? No, right? There's no Final Fight in that little phrase, Street Fighter series, when you see his spirit in the game. That brings up the potential thought process of, okay, could Cody still get in as a Final Fight representative, even though he has a Street Fighter version of himself being represented as a spirit in the game? No, right? Does that make any sense? You see where I come from? These technicalities are pretty nuts. Either way, Mike Haggar's your guy. He's going to be the one to represent it. He's going to be the one I choose to do a moveset for today in this video, even though I personally am a Guy main. And yes, his gameplay style would be interesting to see in a game like this, but Mike Haggar, he's the guy. And unfortunately, Guy isn't the guy. Let's get Mike Haggar's potential appearances out the way. Now, naturally, the one you're seeing here is the optimal choice, as is his main look in mostly all the Final Fight games he's in, and cameos he's in. However, I'm more so concerned about what his ults might look like, because, let's be real, this is a little tad bit boring. So, he could have his ult from Final Fight 2 with the gloves, maybe the long hair. Alternately, maybe he can have something from the Saturday Night Slam Masters game. I think that's what it's called, hopefully. Or maybe something from Final Fight Street Riots with the t-shirt, but I don't think that makes much of a difference. So, one of those, alternately. I think maybe the wrestling gear, because he is a wrestler. Yeah, as far as echoes are concerned, absolutely, I don't see, obviously, nothing for him. He's good on his own. And with that out of the way, I mean, it's very simple. It's a very simple character to implement. It's just what about what he represents in his gameplay. You see, appealing-wise, people may not find Haggar as appealing as other DLC choices, but he does represent beat-em-ups. And that's why he's most likely not talked about. Like I said, he's part of the trio of characters not generally considered. And the reason why is because he just doesn't have that flair as much as other characters do. But what he lacks in that flair, he can make up in his moveset. So, what we're going to do right now is going to compare Incinerator to Mike Haggar side by side to see what they do differently. The reason why I'm doing this is because obviously Incinerator is a wrestler character and has a lariat just like Mike Haggar. How would that differ? Let's first start off with his weight. Now I want you to imagine a Ganondorf Bowser weight. He's going to be a heavy guy, but also his attacks that you're seeing right now is the standard AAA attack where he hits you in the gut with a nice swing. with his 2 arms. That will be his AAA once again, and that's his standard. Now that will be actually pretty fast, so he's gonna be a heavy character with a very fast normal hits, so it's gonna catch you off guard, really off guard. I would probably say as fast as Ken's hits, Ken's jabs. Yeah, that's fast. So as far as standard hits go with that, that's how I imagine it would be. Let's compare it to Larians. So here's Incinerator's Lariat, and here's Mike Hager's Lariat. As you can see, Mike Hager's is a lot more helicopterish, and Incinerator's is spinning around-ish, you know, on the side. And believe it or not, that may not be the only similarities they have. You know, not Lariat, my bad. Incinerator's side B, when he throws the opponent to a ring, you know, the ring, the ropes, and then comes back out. I definitely, first I thought Hager would have something like that, but then I thought maybe he doesn't need anything like that. So I'm thinking that there could be another type of move he could use in that situation. As I'm showing you on screen right now, gameplay from Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Hoodlum Launcher. Now this is a throw he can use with B, side B, or yeah, side B, I imagine, or up B, or you could do it the way that is done in Marvel vs. Capcom, which is Hadouken, Hadouken, light, it was actually light kick and light heavy kick, but obviously that won't transfer to this game, so it'll be light B or something like that. But most likely it'll be side B for simplicity, and it'll be his aerial too to get him up. So it'll be up B for his other version of Hoodlum Launcher, and if he catches you in it, he'll swing you down. Essentially, that's why I imagine it would be. Now, if you noticed throughout all the gameplay I'm showing you, most of it is from Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and there's a few things I haven't talked about that's from that game that could be in his moveset in Smash Brothers, like the barrel throw that he does. That's a projectile that helps him in that game plentiful, because that's one of his weaknesses in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. In that game, he didn't have any projectiles to get in. That move in itself helps him get in. Will that exactly return? It could, but I think that the tools represented here gives Mike Hager an unbelievable advantage here. Not only is his jab speed really fast, he's a very high damaging character. He has a lariat that could potentially keep him in place when he's in the air, enough to do the up B special, which is the Hoodlum Launcher. He is really good. Like, when you think about his gameplay in the game, he will have some incredible mobility for a heavy character. And I think that's the highlight of Hager here, is that his gameplay is very good for competitive Smash play. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed, and if you're not familiar with Mike Hager and Final Fight, at least you learned a little bit something today. This video is meant for people who are kind of really unfamiliar with Final Fight, so if you are familiar with Final Fight naturally, you may hit a lot of similarities here. So basically it was just to lay out what this character can do, so you may consider this character a little bit more. Also, I want to point out I forgot a few more moves, like the body splash he could do with down A, and the drop kick he could do in the air as well. Those are very, very important. But hey, like I said, I hope that you get the gist of what Hager could do, and hope you consider Final Fight characters in Smash Bros. And speaking of Smash Bros, vote now, as I'm really curious as to see what you want me to do next. Here's what I got in mind. Another Smash Brothers moveset. I gotta go quite a few of them lined up already. I want to do a few Tekken 7 characters, movesets. Movesets in that game. So vote. In this section, there's gonna be a lot more character variety. Vote variety could be characters I'm thinking about doing next, and with the series, and you could tell me which one you would like with another series, maybe some like really funky shit like that. that look forward to seeing in this section. And maybe, you never know, maybe a little giveaway here as well. You never know. Anything can happen in this voting section right here at the end of these potential moveset videos. My name is SHINTONE, and until the next confirmation, I will be seeing you. Peace.
Continue.